What's going on? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Bits for everything good and bad inside the world of Apple. And we jump right into it, and we're going to start with the resurrection of the Apple Watch Series 8 rumors with the flat design that we thought was going to be in the Series 7, and then it wasn't, which let down a bunch of people, even though it was never official. And now it could end up being the Series 8, maybe? Let's just put this under, I'll believe it when I see it. Now, a tweet by Shrimp Apple Pro, who's been recently coming up with some good leaks, stirred up the conversation again, and then John Prosser's latest report reiterated that the all-new flat display Apple Watch could be for the Series 8. Or it could be for the rumored rugged Apple Watch model, or a future Apple Watch down the road. But the fact is that this design absolutely exists, and it's just a matter of when Apple will release it. Prosser also says it would use the same display as the Series 7 with the expanded screen, but in this new flat body, flat design. And with nothing really groundbreaking expected in the form of new health sensors this year, I think the best way to get consumers buying a new Apple Watch and some new momentum is to give it a new design. It still would be a little surprising to me, though, if Apple only had the Series 7 design for just 1 year, because typically designs on products have lasted for a couple years or even longer before a refresh, especially for the Apple Watch. And right now, there are rumors that Apple is planning to release 3 different models of the watch. So that includes a new Apple Watch Series 8, a second generation Apple Watch SE, and the new Apple Watch Explorer Edition with enhanced durability. And for me, I'm leaning towards this new design being the rugged version of the Apple Watch, but no one really knows, and we'll see how things shape up as we get closer to its normal fall release. Now, Apple's AR/VR headset is nearing completion, as Bloomberg reports Apple's board members got their first demo of the product. It's an indication that the long-rumored headset is in advanced stages of its development, and we could see it soon. The report also says Apple has ramped up its development of ROS, or Reality OS. That's the software powering the headset. Leaked renders have been out for a while that depict a curved visor and a soft mesh that fits against the face. And reports say most of the processing will be done by an iPhone communicating to the headset. And it's expected to have 2 4K micro OLED displays, 15 camera modules, M1 level processors, and eye tracking capabilities. Now, you're also going to have hand gesture support with spatial audio and more, with a launch priced around $2,000 to $3,000. And if that instantly turns you off, hey, you're not the only one. But am I still super intrigued and curious to try these out? Absolutely. But if I'm opening up my wallet at that level, they legit have to blow my mind, because we're talking about using that same money on a brand new 65-inch OLED TV or a new Mac at those prices, or 445 Taco Bell Mexican pizzas. That's right, Taco Bell brought it back permanently thanks to all of you who fought that good fight. Now, current reports are targeting Apple revealing it as early as this year, with a consumer release plan in 2023. And yes, I'm intrigued, but until I see this vision come together, I'm not overly excited about this first offering. I'm actually more excited about their next generation augmented reality version of their headset, which is still several years away. But I was even more excited to see Google's concept for their pair of augmented reality translation glasses, maybe running something like Google Translate that they showed off at Google I/O. Now, those would be insane for international travel, and it even looked like it might be able to interpret sign language. If they can make that concept a reality, sheesh. And it wouldn't be a complete show without talking about the iPhone. It's been going back and forth for a couple years with rumors of whether or not USB-C would finally come to the iPhone. And we know Apple has been resistant to change it because they make a whole lot of money from licensing fees for products and accessories that use the Lightning port connection. Even if USB-C has faster data transfers and fast charging versus Lightning, who cares? Nobody wants that. Well, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman recently confirmed that after all the rumors, Apple is indeed testing iPhones right now with USB-C ports instead of Lightning ports, but don't hold your breath hoping it will come to the iPhone 14 lineup. That's been completely ruled out, and Apple would make the switch from Lightning to USB-C in 2023 at the earliest. So that means we'll still see the Lightning port this year. Apple already has USB-C ports on the iPad and their Mac lineup, but not the iPhone. And this development just reminds you of how far behind and how long Apple's been holding out. I was tired and beaten down of giving them bad apples year after year, but after being 4 or 5 years late and still not getting USB-C, they just reminded me, that's a bad apple. Boo! But, if Apple could keep Lightning forever, they would. There have even been reports that they were working on a faster version of Lightning for future iPhones. And the main reason they might be making the change is because the European Union has been working on legislation that would require Apple to use USB-C technology across all of its products. The proposal would force all consumer electronics manufacturers who sell devices in Europe to feature USB-C ports. So that's everything from phones to laptops to headphones to cameras and handheld video game consoles. The only exception would be for products that are too small to have a USB-C port, like a smartwatch or health tracker, or unless Apple makes like a super thin iPhone that can't support USB-C. You thought I was kidding, right? Well, I am kidding until they actually do it. Okay, they won't, unless they do. But Apple has stopped including a power adapter in their products to be good to the environment, but actually switching over to USB-C as a standard for all devices would reduce e-waste even more. Now, one idea being thrown around is that Apple would have a USB-C version of their iPhone specifically for the European Union, which would be silly for them to do, but once they do the transition and it happens, Gurman reports the company will come out with an adapter that would let USB-C phones connect to accessories that have lightning ports. So it's another dongle that they could have avoided 4 or 5 years ago if they actually made the switch earlier, after hundreds of millions of more iPhones were sold. So maybe an iPhone with USB-C comes out for the iPhone 15, because if they'll likely update the design slightly for this year's 14, you got the punch hole and the pill hole, and then bring a better camera. But you're gonna want USB-C to transfer those massive ProRes video files and media for the iPhone 15. And guess who's gonna want that the most? Content creators who will talk about it in their videos, like me, to try and convince, I'm not trying to convince you, but we're gonna love it. And hopefully they hope that you're gonna love it too. And see, the Cupertino kids, they have already planned all this out. Now, a recent report from Ming-Chi Kuo claims Apple is planning to launch a new version of the Apple TV in the second half of this year. In a tweet, Kuo claims that the new Apple TV will have an improved cost structure, which could mean that Apple's maybe planning for a lower price point to bring in new customers. Now, at this point, I don't see how it's gonna do much for them when most people who don't own an Apple TV, and that's a lot of people, they've already locked into their $100 to maybe even just $50 streaming sticker box, or they're just using the apps natively on their TV. We know the Apple TV Plus app, it's free on streaming devices or already on your smart TV apps too. The latest Apple TV 4K, that was released last year in April of 2021, and it starts at $179 for 32 gigs of storage, $199 with 64 gigs. And that's just really pricey for the general consumer. But is Apple all of a sudden gonna bring a $99 option to the mix? I mean, it's hard to see them go that low, and that would be the only price point where maybe they could get a little traction. I think the biggest thing going for them is the rise of Apple TV Plus, which has just really carved itself out now as a platform with quality content that keeps getting better. Like, how hyped are you for Prehistoric Planet? It is from the same crew that brought us Planet Earth, with David Attenborough narrating. Like, I don't even have to see it, and I know that's a good Apple. Yeah! And I'm telling you right now, Apple TV Plus, Netflix. Apple TV Plus, Netflix. I mean, that's the direction it's going, and TV Plus is only $4.99 a month, y'all. Like, it's crazy just how quickly things have changed in a little over 2 years. All right, everybody, that's gonna do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly AppleBits XL audio podcast to get the latest deep dive with all these stories and new ones every week with special guests. If you want to support my content, patreon.com/BrianTong is where you can do it for early access, rewards at different levels, and a completely ad-free version of my podcast. It supports everything. So thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care and be safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace and love.